That's yours.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're up at Kings Lynn visiting Anglia Car Auctions for their 5th and final classic car sale of 2024. Now this is a 2-day event with hundreds of classic cars entered. You've got classic vans, 80s hot hatches, collector's pieces. There's just a bit of everything here for everyone. Anyway, let's take a look around and see what's going under the hammer this weekend.
Let's kick this weekend sale off with a very interesting lot. This 1987 Ford Sierra RS Cosworth has been owned by the vendor since less than a year old. So it comes from a very long-term ownership, and the interior is in a lovely condition, as is the rest of the exterior. But as we move to the front of the Sierra Cosworth, there's a slight burn mark on the bonnet, which indicates there's been a fire. So this has had a small engine bay fire all around the fuel inside. As you can see, lots of melted parts, but it doesn't seem too bad. Certainly can be put back on the road. And if you just look at that passenger front wing, it's only got a bit of burn mark on it. I think even that could go again. Now, there was no insurance claim on this, so it's HPI clear, and it's believed to only covered less than 30,000 miles. It's had a speedo change, but with all the old MOT certificates and the documentation, they believe this has only covered less than 30,000 miles. Now, estimated 18 to 24,000 pounds. We're going to find out how much this burnt out Sierra is going to go for.
The internet's saying 35, my commission here is saying 35, 36,000. At 36,000, I'm taking 500. 36,500, 37,000. At 37,500, 38, 38,500.
Will it reach £50,000?
48,750. It's got to be said this time, isn't it? That's a definite fill it up.
Fill it up.
That's for £50,000 up in here now. Last time I was up there, £50,250. You're sure? That's yours. 1398. Thank you very much. Enjoy, I know you will.
How about this for a 90s hot hatch? This 1990 Citroen AX GT is believed to have only covered 34,000 miles and is a local Norfolk car. Now, I do like to bang on about bold interiors, and this AX GT certainly fits that bill with that striking red piping around them seats. Now, the description states that it's got service records up to 1994, but then there's a gap until 2011, so it spent some time off the road. And there is Citroen's nippy 1.4 litre engine. Now, this has had quite a bit of work done to it recently, including a head gasket, cam belt and water pump. It's also had a full service this year as well. The Citroen still features both of its original dealership number plates. It's believed to have a full respray at some point in its life, but it's presented in a lovely condition. MOT'd until April 2025. The estimate on this weekend at Anglia Car Auctions is £5,000 to £7,000.
That's 71 and 71 on here. That's 71 on tax 72 anywhere. That's 71, 72 on bid now, 72. That's 72, 73. 73, active up, 73, big quickly coming. That's 74, 74. That's 75. Now, only, that's all we've got. Thank you for that one.
The next lot we're taking a look around is this 1991 BMW E30. It's a 325i Touring, and it's a manual. I really do like these, especially the Touring models. The E30 last had a valid MOT back in 2013, so it's been off the road over 10 years now. The mileage, it's showing 170,000, but I tell you what, it looks nice and presentable in here. It's also fitted with a factory sunroof. Here is a glance into the engine bay. Now, over that side it's had some sort of spray work which hasn't been done to the best standard, but there is the 2.5 injection BMW engine. It doesn't look too bad. There's been a couple of repairs, especially one to the scuttle that doesn't look too happy, but the rest of it presents itself in a fairly good condition. Looking around the E30 Touring, it's had patches of paint, but I still think it's quite a cheap and cheerful example, estimated at just £4,000 to £5,000.
You're 4100 pence. Whether it more short. That's all. I'm going to sell it anymore. 4100 pence. 4100 pence. All on the internet. The hovering. Sold 4100 pence.
Next, we are looking around a slightly more modern vehicle in this 2001 rare white Ford Mondeo ST200. It's an ex-police car and believed to be just one of 5 left on the roads. It's believed the Mondeo was more of a undercover police vehicle rather than a marked patrol car. It's fitted with calibrated RS dials. It's got the ST200 inlays in there as well, showing 147,000 miles. It's got a lovely ST200 gear knob and is fitted with this full black leather interior. The vendor explains that thousands have been spent on the Mondeo recently, including 4 refurbished alloy wheels, inner and outer sills, as well as them being painted. The ST200 is fitted with a 2.5 litre V6, 24 valve double overhead cam engine. I bet that still pulls like a train. Now, it's MOT'd until June 2025, so nice lengthy ticket, and the estimate is just £4,000 to £6,000.
At £3,000, I've had 2,532. 3,200, I've had 3,400. At 3,200, I've had 3,400 there. At 3,200, I've 3,200 the bit. It's had its time. I'm trying at 32.
I've now stumbled across a 1983 Ford Cortina, which was imported into the UK in 2016. It originally comes from South Africa. Taking a look inside the Mark V Cortina, you can see that it's got some non-original seats in it, but these look quite cool. The full interior, in fact, has been fully retrimmed. Not only are the seats done, but the armrest is done. Got the handbrake and gear stick gaiter, along with the door cards as well. And the interior is not where the modifications and changes stop, because the Cortina used to be brown, but it's had a full respray in white, and this was featured in Retro Ford magazine. A copy of that comes with the sale of the Cortina. There's been a small fortune spent on the Ford Cortina. The Essex V6 3 litre engine has been fully reconditioned. It's also had a reconditioned gearbox and new clutch. The description also reads that the Cortina benefits from suspension upgrades. It's got a full stainless exhaust system, and the estimate on it is £5,000 to £7,000. Good money, smack bang in the middle of the estimate at the moment.
86 price, hold the wall, I sell it away, that 86, that's yours.
And just before I move on to the next lot, I want to give a shout out to Big Phil and Little Phil. They've just come over and said hello. They've travelled up from Southend today. It's the first time here, so yeah, shout out to you guys. Let's look at the next lot. Now we're looking around our first no reserve of the sale in this 1994 Rover Metro 1.1 S, which is MOT'd and on the road, ready to drive home from the sale. Prior to its MOT in October of this year, the Metro had only covered 59 miles since 2017, so I can only assume that it has been off the road for quite some time and someone has just got a ticket on it, possibly done a slight bit of work on it as well. Now the clocks are showing 46,000 miles. As I always mention, that could well be genuine, but you'd have to go back on old documentation and MOTs to try and gauge whether it is or isn't. Taking a quick glance around the bay, doesn't seem to be much rust or rot to worry about. After all, it has just been MOT'd, so should be structurally sound. You've got the 1.1 litre engine in there. And I'd say the reason I'm looking around this is for young first drivers. If you're into classic or retro cars, I think this would make a perfect first car. The Rover Metro could well be a bargain, no reserve and ready to drive home. Let's find out what that goes for.
The Rover Metro there, reference to 1994, showing just 46,000 miles, £700 on it for a low start here, now there's £800 and £900, and £900 surely don't leave me there. My girls up there were selling it outright at £900, it is not time. That's yours, £100.
They're 500.
Owning a Mark II Fiesta myself, I will naturally gravitate towards these at auction. This is a 1989, so same year as mine. This is a 1.1, but it's a left-hand drive. It was originally registered in Spain. I personally absolutely love the pattern on the door cards and the seats in this Fiesta. Now it's showing 36,000 kilometres, but it could well be 136, you just don't know. Now talking about the condition of the Mark II Fiesta, well, the doors don't even close properly. But if you just take a look at this one, it's really badly dented, and it seems like all the locks have been drilled out or had a screwdriver in them, which is quite a shame. It's got some pepper pots off of a XR2 fitted, and the rear bumper has been quite squashed. If you can see, it almost looks like it's been rear-ended. The front bumper is in quite bad condition as well. Now the Mark II Fiesta does have MOT until October 2025, so nearly a 12-month ticket. Around by the battery tray is starting to go, but on that near side wing, the inner wing is nice and solid, and on this offside it has been repaired, not to the best of standard, but it's all solid. Now, as for the estimate, it's estimated £2,000 to £3,000.
Go look at this, a little Ford Fiesta, the left-hand drive, £1,500, this £1,500 of his last time. Ladies and gents, you won't be buying that today, that little Ford.
For anyone watching my channel for a lengthy time will know that I love a commercial, love a pickup, love a van. Now we're looking around this 2000 VW Caddy 1.9D, which seems to present itself in really lovely condition. Now it's showing 31,000 miles on the clock, although the vendor states that it does not work anymore, and it's only had 4 previous keepers. By reading the description, someone certainly spent quite a bit of money on the VW. It's had a full respray, including any welding that needed to be done, 4 new tyres, a clutch and various other parts changed. I think that's quite a tidy example. MOT'd until June 2025 and estimated £2,500 to £3,500.
On sale at £4,100 bid. At £4,100 is now going to go once. That's yours, sir. 1491. Thank you.
It wouldn't be one of my Anglia Car Auctions videos without featuring one of these Mark VI Escort vans. This is a 1998 Ford Escort 55D van. Now these sell, I've seen them sell from anything from £1,000 up to £4,000 or £5,000 in really good condition. So this one is offered as a no reserve. The Ford Escort van has covered 102,000 miles in its life, and I've never seen this before. It's been categorised twice. It was a Cat C in 2003 and a Cat D in 2013, so it's been written off twice. Unfortunately, I can't seem to get the bonnet opened on this. I think the cable is all jammed up, but it has had some recent work, including a new battery, a new alternator and a new starter motor. It's also had 4 new tyres. And taking a look around the Escort van, it looks to be in okay condition. It's definitely had a few bits sprayed over the years. Anyway, the Escort is on the road. It's MOT'd until December of this year, so it's got a couple of months left on its MOT. As I say, it's a no reserve, but I think them insurance write-offs are going to affect the hammer price, but we'll wait and see what that goes for.
Always great little commercials there, little Ford Escort at 55, at 1400, 1500, 1600, at 1600 up at 1700, yes, 1800. Last time was you at 1950. That's yours, alright, 1950.
Now we're taking a look around this 1989 Honda CRX, which formed part of the vendor's small private collection since 2019. I do love the rear design on the CRX. Now the vendor describes this to be in original condition with good tyres and all the electrics working as they should. I must admit that the inside is really quite nice, showing 90,000 miles, and it's just been MOT'd. It's MOT'd in October, so you've got a fresh 12-month ticket with the sale. The Honda has had 6 owners from new, with the previous keeper owning it for 20 years. That is the 1.6 Honda engine which is fitted to the CRX. There's a slight bit of mould starting on one of the fuel hoses, could indicate a bit of lack of use. I've really enjoyed looking around this Honda. It's also got a factory fitted sunroof, which would be lovely on a summer's day. It's estimated £5,000 to £7,000.
That's 4,900. That's 4,900 pounds. With 5 quick reference at 4,900. That's 4,900 pounds. Only get rid of 4,900 pounds. It is now the last time. I'm sure it'll come, but it is just a little 4,900.
It's not often that Lauren says she likes a car at these auctions, but when we were browsing through Anglia Car Auctions online catalogue, she said she really liked the look of this Mark III Fiesta. It's a 1992 Ford Fiesta XR2i. The XR2i has a valid MOT until May 2025. I always think it's quite nice to have a valid MOT when buying from auction. Just means you can drive it home the same day if you like. Now we're struck by these big wingback seats, and in here we also do have a factory fitted sunroof. The XR2i is described to be running and driving well. Now, I've had a good look around it, and it's certainly had paint on a couple of the panels over the years. If we just take this rear quarter for example, the body kit's actually been left on whilst they've painted it, which is a huge no-no for me. The XR2i is powered by the 16 valve double overhead cam Z-Tech engine. Now this is estimated £4,000 to £6,000.
That's 5,100 looks for 2 quid Wesley anywhere, but it's all selling at £5,100. It's online here going once. £5,100 it is. 5-1, that's yours. Yeah, thank you.
Now we've looked around a Mark II Fiesta and a Mark III Fiesta, so it's only right we look around this 1981 Mark I Fiesta. Now this is a left-hand drive, just like the Mark II Fiesta, and it was imported from Spain, registered in the UK in June this year. The little Mark I Fiesta did have valid MOT, but that has now expired. However, it doesn't need MOT or tax as it's exempt. It's over 40 years old now. And something these Spanish ones have is the quarter opening windows. Now they're quite rare in a Fiesta, so people go balmy for them. Just at the bottom of the windows, starting to go on both sides. That'll need the window taken out and some welding repairs. Reading the description, it states the Mark I Fiesta has always been stored in the garage, and as we take a look under the bonnet, it seems to have preserved it well. The inner wings haven't been repaired, and it actually looks really solid under here. Even the bonnet hinges are pretty strong still. Now don't get me wrong, this isn't the cleanest Mark I Fiesta out there, but it's not too bad. It's certainly better condition than the Mark II Fiesta left-hand drive that we looked around previously, and it's estimated the same at £2,000 to £3,000. I think that's a good estimate for this vehicle.
There's a little Ford Fiesta Mark I. Left-hand drive, this one for 1,600, 1,700, 1,800. Hit the room, not with you, and there's 1,800 my big here. 1,900, 2,000 online. That £2,300 is now for last time. That's for you, sir. 1,503. Thank you very much.
Now, does anyone recognise this 1990 Sierra XR4i? Well, if they do, that is because I recorded it back in December 2022 when this was at Letchworth Motor Auctions, and I think the hammer price was £2,900, so add fees, it went for just over £3,000. Back when I recorded this Sierra 2 years ago, I noticed quite some bad rust on the driver's rear wheel arch and the sill, but since then, the description states it's had the rear arches and both seals replaced, along with a service, and it's also had new tyres and a new radiator. It's also worth noting, when I last saw this car, the front bumper was really quite badly cracked. It looked terrible and was quite an eyesore, but now it seems to have been all repaired and resprayed, making it look nice and presentable. Unfortunately, I can't get in the Sierra because it's fully locked up, but it's had 2 previous keepers and is showing 75,000 miles on the clock. Now, this has just run out of MOT, which is such a shame. It's the 2nd of November today, but it ran out on the 27th of October. So yeah, that's a real shame it hasn't got 12 months ticket on it. Anyway, it's estimated £2,750 to £3,750 this weekend at Anglia Car Auctions.
The Ford Sierra litre, the XR4 ride there. This has undergone some restoration. £3,000 worth on sale at £3,000 bid. At 3,132. That's at 3,300. You're buying it into that. 3,4. That's 3,4. Shaking his head there. £3,700 it is, and you're buying it into that. 3,7. 3,7. That's yours. Thank you both bidders.
If I thought the AX GT was nice earlier, we're being spoilt today. Here's a 1989 Peugeot 205 GTI. Now this is the 1.9. The Peugeot GTI has been in storage for 18 years. What I've noticed, taking a brief walk around it, is it's got quite a lot of dents and dings in it, especially in this boot, but also down this driver's side. If you can see along that driver's side door, plenty of dings. Now although this has been in storage for 18 years, it does have a valid MOT until April 2025. The mileage reads 155,000 miles. It's certainly lived a life, this little 205. Probably in need of some light restoration, I'd say. This is a bit more of a weathered example, especially looking at that driver's seat. Here is a brief overview of the engine bay and that 1.9 litre engine. Now it's said to come with the older style V5, and it's also got a history printout of the MOTs from 2005 to 2024. Certainly in need of a little bit of fettling with, some restoration, but it's on the road and a nice estimate of £4,000 to £6,000.
1999 Peugeot, the ever popular 1900 GTI. That's 4,849. Sell it away once, twice, one time, boring and sold it.
It would be really rude not to cover this 1996 Land Rover, but it's got a Beetle body. So this has got a galvanised chassis of a 2.5 litre diesel Land Rover, which has been mated to a VW Beetle. It's certainly a eye-catching vehicle and really quite interesting how it's been made. The date of the conversion is unknown, but the description reads that ultimately it hasn't been used. The last MOT was back in 2023, so it now doesn't have a valid MOT. It's fitted with these quite hefty looking bucket seats. But yeah, I think this is a really interesting lot. Someone could certainly get it back on the road, and with the amount of floods we have in the UK these days, it might be quite handy. Where the engine would usually sit in the VW Beetle is now empty. Now you've got a big fuel tank in the back. I assume that's from the Land Rover. And the estimate on this jacked up Beetle is £4,000 to £6,000.
The 1996 Land Rover Beetle body. That 2.4 up in there, got early on steroids. That 2.425. That 2.526 very provisional at 2,800 it is. 2.8 that's very provisional.
We're now going to look around a couple of their non-runners here at Anglia Car Auctions. Now we've looked around some mini vans that have been offered here before in stunning condition, but this one is a 1979 Austin Morris Mini 1000 van, which is in need of some restoration. The mini van was last on the road back in 2009. That's when its last MOT expired. People have already been peeling up the carpet to take a look at the floor condition. It's had quite a few repairs here or there, but I think someone could get this back on the road. The mini van comes with no paperwork, so it's got no paperwork and no history, and the V5C will need to be applied for. Being in this condition, the Mini doesn't start or drive. It's a non-runner, but this weekend at Anglia Car Auctions, it's offered as a no reserve.
1900, 19, we're going to end up to 1900, 2000 bid, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, at 3000, 34, 35, at 3,600 it is, 36, that's yours internet.
Now there's two Mk1 Escort vans entered into Anglia Car Auctions sale this weekend. The first one we're looking around is this one that has been off the road for in excess of 25 years. Its last MOT on file was 1997 and the mileage hasn't really changed since. We take a look inside, it's all still there. even though the dash is starting to crack up, the seats are all teared, but it is a automatic, meaning it's got a larger gearbox tunnel. You will notice that the front panel is missing off of the Escort van, but it does have a replacement that comes with it, and I believe it comes with a new rear door. Not quite sure what side, but there is a new rear door. The Escort van has clearly had some welding done to it before, not to the best standard. It's really quite horrible. If we look back here, there's quite a lot of filler in the rear arch as well. Everything's going to have to be cut right back and welded back in. Also, this rear door has got quite a lot of rot on it. Under the bonnet, and taking a look around the engine bay, in the grand scheme of things it doesn't look too bad. Yes, it's going to still need some repairs, but yeah, certainly not too bad at all. I presume that's going to be a 1.3 cross-flow engine, but as always I could be wrong. Anyway, there is an estimate on the Mk1 Escort van, and that is £4,000 to £6,000.
At 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 5,000 we're on sale. 6,600 is now going twice. It's on sale at the it goes, and 6,600 is now for the last time. 66, that's yours. 1661.
Now this is the last non-runner and barn find like condition that we're going to look around, but this is a very rare one, a 1983 Ford Fiesta. It's a Mk1 XR2. These are a lot of money these days, especially a Mk1. Now the story goes that the vendor's family in the year 2000 purchased this for his 21st birthday with the intentions of improving it, but it was never improved and has clearly deteriorated to such a level that it needs a full rebuild, even reshelling possibly. Look at the floors. It's absolutely rotten. It really is bad. But you've got quite a lot of the interior still in here. You've got the dash, you've got the bumpers, exhaust, and the rear boot has actually been cut out. The description states that when the XR2 was bought in the year 2000, it was drivable but needed some repairs. Unfortunately, it does look like it must have been parked up in a field or something, because it is really, really rotten. I'm not quite sure if the whole like arches and body kit come with it. You'd have to have a right good dive into it and have a look what's inside. It does still feature its original 1.6 engine. Now these fetch strong money these days, even in non-running condition, so you could be lucky to get a bit of money for that. The Mk1 Fiesta XR2 is a matching numbers car and comes with its older style V5. It's offered as a no reserve. I personally know what I'd do with that. I'd probably get one of the left-hand drive ones and try and make good out of two cars, but let's find out what that goes for.
£600 on bid now, and £600 bid. At £700 on bid now, it's in the room at 700, 800, at £800 on bid. I'll take a 50 for help. Online and selling at £900, it is now last time. £900, that's yours, isn't it?
How about another low mileage classic car? This 1978 Austin Morris Mini 1000 ran out of MOT in 2012. Now the previous year, in 2011, it only recorded 25,000 miles. It hasn't had an MOT since, but it is now MOT and tax exempt. The description states that the Mini has been upgraded to a full-length wooden dashboard, and it still features its original deck chair-like seat upholstery. Just check out the condition of the engine bay of the Mini 1000. It looks absolutely immaculate. Really loving this. A true, genuine example, and estimated at Anglia Car Auctions just £5,000 to £7,000.
49, 46, 47, 47, 47 in the roof, 48, 28, 49 in the roof. 5,000. Who gets it at 7,000? It's your son.
Moving from one Mini to kind of another in this 1973 Austin Mini Scamp. I believe this is a mini kit car. Now, quite an interesting looking thing. It's got a tow bar at the front and rear. I'm not quite sure what the use of these would be. So this Mk1 Mini Scamp was first registered in November 73. It's based on a 1.1 litre Mini and had two previous keepers. Now the last MOT expired in 2020, but just like the little 1 litre Mini we looked around, it's now tax and MOT exempt. It's yeah, quite an interesting thing. You've got this jacking beam here. I'm not quite, I see these on off-roaders quite a lot of the time, so I'm not quite sure what it's doing in here, whether you sort of go off-roading in this, or it's like a challenge sort of vehicle. We've got the little bonnet up on the Mini Scamp, and there is the 1100 engine. Trying to work out what it's made from. It's either made from very thin metal, or it's fiberglass or something like that. On further inspection, it looks like this part is made out of fiberglass. There's been a slight bit of damage here, but then you've got these fins that have been made, I assume, to cool down the engine slightly more, but they feel like metal or alley maybe.
That's 2010. That's 21. That's 2100 within 22. 22 again. That's 2223 within. That's 2324. Oh, what's that with? Twice you can visit this time for 15. That's 34. Sold 3400. Thank you.
At one of the other auctions I attended the other week, I looked around a Porsche, and it'd be rude not to look around this 1990 Porsche 944 Turbo whilst we're here. Now, this is a 2.5 litre 5-speed manual. The 994 Turbo is finished in Baltic blue and really great colour. As we come into the cream interior, it's all in such clean condition. The vendor has owned this for the past 11 years, and when it's not been in use, it has been garage stored. With an engine bay like that, you'd be surprised when I tell you this has covered 168,000 miles. Yeah, it's really, really clean under here. The Porsche is also MOT'd, valid until February 2025. The clutch was replaced in 2017, and since then it's only covered 2,000 miles. It also features the 968 alloy wheels. Now, it might be a high mileage Porsche, but it's still a high estimate at 13 to 16,000 pounds. Let's find out what that makes.
Go on to up by 78 it is showing there. 10-4, 10-6, 10-8, 11,000, 11,200 and 11,002. For on sale at 13,400, at 13,400, 13,600, 13,800, 14,800 pounds it is now selling. 14,800, that's yours, thank you.
What about this then? A 1988 Volvo 760 GLE, but this has been converted to a dragster, although it's been on display in a showroom for the past 20 years. Now, if we have a look under the bonnet, the engine has been shoved right back, almost sort of where your feet would usually sit if you were driving the car. So I'm not quite sure what engine this is. It's a V8 of some kind, but yeah, the amount of work and engineering that's gone into fitting that is pretty incredible. Named after Big Bird from Sesame Street. You can see that in the back here we've got the radiator, a fuel tank that's been custom made, and we've even got the coolant reservoir and battery down here. So I don't believe this has been used too much in the past 20 years, but it's an incredible sight. You've got these massive rear arches that have been installed, and they've got some big vents on them too to let the airflow get to that rear mounted radiator. After reading a bit more of the description, the V8 is from a Jensen Interceptor and is almost a mid-engined car now, with a Jensen Interceptor gearbox, prop and rear axle. Now, this is going to shock quite a lot of you guys, but this is MOT'd. It's on the road and valid until September 2025. The estimate on this is £4,500 to £6,500, and you can drive it home today.
At 3,000 quid, at 3,000 at 3,000 bid 1, at 31, 32, 33, all at 33, at 34 once, 3,400 quid bid twice, 534, who's going to do for it?
The next lot we're looking around is this 1990 Vauxhall Astra GTE. Now, this was off the road since 2016, but the vendor purchased it in 2023, and since then it's paid some attention to a couple of bits of welding that needed doing and a small bit of paintwork, including the bonnet. The GTE has got 148,000 miles on the clock and is MOT'd until June 2025. Love the pattern in here. So striking and 80s. Now this also comes with a period correct phone. Now the work carried out to the GTE didn't stop with the welding and the paintwork. It's also had a full service, a timing belt, it's had new injectors and a fuel pump replacement. There is the 2 litre 16 valve double overhead cam engine, said to be running and driving well. In the boot it comes with its 5th white alloy wheel and some of the toolkit. Very nice indeed, and it's got a uncut parcel shelf, always a winner on these. Now the estimate on the Vauxhall Astra GTE is £7,000 to £9,000.
7576, 7,600 minutes, 768, 77, 8200, 83, 83, waiting up a bit, 84, 8400 pounds, it's on the sale, 84, 9700 pounds, minute all the way there. Your number is on your point, the final time you're going to miss it, that's yours, thank you, minute, 1333.
There's always a different car at these auctions that tickles my fancy. I've been looking around this 2003 BMW E36 M3 Coupe. Now, I'm not sure what it is about this, whether it's just so clean, the diamond cut wheels, it's just absolutely stunning. Got the M3 on the seal plate, branding on point, and it's fitted with these leather light grey seats. Got the vanity lights at the back for the passengers as well. Now this example has covered 84,000 miles. It's MOT'd until November 2025. It's got a 13-month ticket on it. Really do love this, and it also comes with its original bill of sale, which was £40,000. It's going to go for a fraction of that price today. Under the bonnet we've got a 3.3 litre 6-cylinder engine, I believe that's right anyway, but I've been looking at the MOT history on this BMW M3 and it has had a clean ticket since 2019, so no advisories since 2019, and the rest of the MOT history is pretty clean as well. The BMW M3 is estimated £14,000 to £16,000.
10, 8 only minutes on the down, 11 on in 2, 11 2, that's in the room, 11 2, then 11 down 2, 11 4, 12 I'll take 13, that 13 to bit, 13 2, the final time I don't finish it on anywhere, that's a provisional winter, we'll do that now, 17 40.
I seem to stumble across a RS2000 Mk1 Escort whenever I come to Anglia Car Auctions, and we're looking around this 1977 RS2000. Now it's not in the best of conditions, but I feel like the estimate does reflect that. The RS2000 has been owned by the vendor for 6 years. Really interesting, in the description it states that this was sold at Anglia Car Auctions back in 2016. So I'm going to try and find out the price it sold for back then, and I'll put it on the screen now. It seems that the classic Ford has got quite a rippled roof, as you can see there. On this side it's really quite bad, and I believe the roof has been painted at some point because you've got some reaction to the paint, and also just down here there is a slight bit of bubbling, maybe a bit of rust coming through on that gutter. The Escort has also had some recent work, including a full engine rebuild and a slight modification, I believe, costing around £4,000. It's also had a new exhaust manifold, which cost nearly £2,000. So quite a bit of money has been spent on this recently. Unfortunately, it looks like the top plates for the struts have been replaced, but the VIN number has gone missing. The Escort comes with a 12 months MOT ticket, and it's not in terrible condition, it just could do with some improvements. Now, the estimate for this is £20,000 to £25,000 here at Anglia Car Auctions.
20,000, 250 minutes, 20,000, 250, 20,000, 20,500. That's 23,700, that's 24 bid, 24,000 bid, that's 24,250, that's 24,250 bid, 26,750 twice bid, will you be coming? That's 26,750, sold 26,750, thank you very much for your visit.
Earlier in the video we looked around a Mk1 Escort in need of some restoration. Now we're looking around this early example of a 1968 Escort van, which is presented in stunning condition. The Escort van has had 2 registered keepers from new. The vendor only acquired this in January of this year. Now the full restoration is believed to be carried out back in 2013, although the vendor has carried out quite a lot of work since his ownership started in January this year. The vendor has replaced the battery, regulator box, points, condenser, rotor arm, distributor head, leads, fuel pump, fuel pipes, carpet, and had the steering wheel recoated. All fluids have been renewed as well. We're in the corner of one of the halls here at Anglia Car Auctions, so it's a little bit dark in the back of the van, but as you can see, it's all been painted in here as well, with all of the side panels looking nice and straight, and I assume this is the carpet that has been replaced. It's fair to say the Mk1 Escort is a lovely van. Now this is tax and MOT exempt, but it does have a valid MOT until November of this year. The estimate is £18,000 to £20,000. If you think that one we looked around earlier in the video, you've got quite a bit of money to spend on that to get it up to this condition and maybe make a tidy profit. Anyway, let's see what this goes for.
That's 12,250 on the day now, that's 12,250, 12 and a half, 750. Gone with you, that's 13,000, 13,250, 13 and a half, 15,000, that's 15,250. That's 23,250 you want. 250 online. That's 23,250. 23,500 back in the room. That's 23,500. At 26,250 it is now going twice. A cleaner one you will not find. At 26,250 it is now for the last time, and the gallons up and we're selling. That's yours, sir, at 26,250.
Well then, we've looked around some low mileage classics already. This one isn't really a classic, but possibly a future classic. It's a 2003 Ford Focus Mk1 RS, which has covered just over 5,000 miles from new. Absolutely incredible. Now it's got matching dealer number plates from Welling in Hertfordshire. Not only does it have the incredible low mileage, but it's only had one owner from new. This is build number 2745. The description states that it was only taken out in decent weather as a fun second car. And as you can tell from the condition of them seats, this really hasn't been sat in at all. Under the bonnet is Ford's 2-litre turbocharged Duratec engine. Now, this has been in storage since 2017 and hardly used due to a move from Hertfordshire up to Yorkshire. This has just had a oil and filter service plus a MOT, which had no advisories given. Now, this was brought to Anglia Car Auctions on a damp day, but it was in a covered trailer, so protected from the elements all the way to the auction. Now, this is estimated at £25,000 to £30,000.
Yes, it's already at the it's already at there.
At 31, 32,000. Before you, it's down in the room, 32,500, 33,000. At 33,000, 33,500. 34,
Here we go, really happy to see this go high. 34.
34,500. 35,000. Last chance of today, £38,500 it is, and gabbles up and we're selling. That's yours, and thank you very much to all bidders.
We're going from one low mileage car to another. Now we're looking around this 2006 Range Rover TD6 that has just covered under 4,000 miles. So it's got even less miles on it than the RS, and this is offered as a no reserve. It really is remarkable when you look around these vehicles that you just think it hasn't been used. This is the closest you're going to get to buying a brand new 20-year-old car. Now this has covered 3,780 miles and the vendor has owned this since it was 4 months old. We're in the boot now and it looks like this spare wheel has never been used. I'd probably go as far as saying it probably hasn't. It's got a Goodyear tyre on it, which has probably come from the factory. Now, this is in a lovely shade of a dark blue. It's such a great colour. The vendor states this is ready to be tucked away in someone's collection. It's got valid MOT until October 2025. And there we go. That is the engine bay, covered in plenty of plastic, but I was just having a browse around it and looking at the tyres, they are actually dated back to 2006. So I think it's got all the original tyres on it as well. It's offered as a no reserve, so no telling what that's going to go for. Highest bidder gets it. Let's find out.
50, 17 with it, 250 with it, 75, 75 with it, 75, 18, 255, 18, 5, 18, 5 with it, 18, 5 over there, 18, 5, 18, 5, 750 with it, 18, 19 with it, 19 down.
Wow, that is going up quick.
19 down there.
21.5. Has it made its money?
22,000 there.
Nope. It's still going up. 22.
22 down, still paying 250. 24. Sold at 24,500 there. Thank you very much.
Now we're looking around this 1953 Wolseley 680 saloon. Now this is all livered up as a old police car. It's been in the Metropolitan Police Museum for some time before, but is never believed to be in actual service. They think it's a replica. Although this is believed to be a replica, it still features all of the police kit, including a Winkworth bell and working PA system. It's got a telephone down here as well. It even comes with a old police uniform and hat. The Wolseley is said to be in sound condition. It's benefited from electronic ignition and it's also had a alternator conversion. There's certainly quite a lot of interest in the old police car. It even features on the front page of the catalogue here at Anglia Car Auctions this weekend. Now the estimate is £8,000 to £10,000.
6,062, 64, 66. Your one there. £6,800 is for original bid. The best we can do is 6,800 last. It's very provisional, but we'll see if we can get it together.
What an auction that was. I think we need a little debrief. So I'm going to talk about a couple of the motors. Firstly, I want to talk about that burnt Sierra Cosworth. Who would have thought that would go for £54,000? I think the fact that it had really low owners and such low mileage was the reason why it went for so much money. But yeah, crazy project for someone. Secondly, I just want to talk about that Mk1 Escort van. Absolute minter. But when I was looking around it, I didn't expect it to go for £28,000. I think it started at about 14 or 15, but it just kept going up and up and up. So yeah, incredible price for that. And the last Ford I just want to touch on was that Mk1 Focus RS. I couldn't believe that it went for like £41,000, including fees. Really crazy. Now, me and Dad were looking around that vehicle and the vendor actually came and spoke to us. It was really good chatting to him. And yeah, we were actually stood beside him when the Focus went under the hammer. And I think he was quite speechless and a bit overwhelmed, but really great price for that. I really enjoyed looking around the classic Fords at Anglia Car Auctions, but there was a couple of BMWs that really tickled my fancy this time, including the E30 Touring BMW. Loved that, and I think it sold for $4,400 including fees, so a good little project for someone to get back on the road. And we've also got to talk about that E46 BMW M3. So nice in that dark shade of blue with the diamond cut alloys. I loved that thing. Now it did sell provisional, but I've got it written down here that it did sell for £15,000 in the end. So luckily the auction house and the highest bidder managed to bridge that gap. I would love to know what your lot of the auction was, so please do comment it below. And if you're wondering, the fees at Anglia Car Auctions are 8% plus VAT on the fees. That nicely rounds off the last Anglia Car Auction video of 2024, but they do have 5 weekend dates for their next sales in 2025, and these all feature in my calendar. So these calendars I've partnered up with Anglia Car Auctions. They've proudly sponsored it. And in here, you have all 5 of their weekend sale dates for 2025. Now, if anyone wants to purchase one of these calendars, they are full of subscribers' classic cars. All you have to do is direct message me on Facebook or Instagram or email me. I'll leave my link to my email below. But I would like to thank Anglia Car Auctions for sponsoring this year's calendar. Anyway, that's enough waffling from me. If you did all enjoy this video, please do give it a like. And if you like what you see, subscribe to the channel to see more. Thank you all for watching, and until the next one, I'll see you guys later.
Bye.